Hello and welcome to Post, the channel where we discuss all things hockey and all teams. We're back for another Fan Friday. Hockey Fan Friday is here, and I know a lot of people look forward to this because it's a great opportunity for us to interact with you guys at home and you guys interact with us in the comments. It's a series where we ask you a question and you answer in the comments, and then we read them in the next week's video. So last week's question was, who was your favorite hockey player and why, and who was your least favorite hockey player and why? There were some interesting answers and a lot of people with the same answers, specifically in the least favorite hockey player answer.
Okay.
So there's 15 here.
All right.
I'll get you to read them and we can go through them.
First one is from West Has United. This won't be popular opinion, but my favorite player is definitely Brad Marchand because, one, everyone hates him and therefore makes it amazing when he does well, just to see how upset people get, and two, he has pure talent, especially when he doesn't play dirty. I'd have to agree with that.
Yep, definitely.
My least favorite player would be Crosby because, one, admittedly, part of the reason is because he has an amazing talent and I wish he played for my team, and two, he is a crybaby, and three, he plays dirty but doesn't get as punished like others do because of his status. I'd be hard-pressed to disagree with that,
I would completely disagree with that. Sorry, Justin.
But less so now. But in the first few years he was in the league, he was a super-duper whiner. He got away with
He acted very entitled.
Yeah. Lately, though, the last few years, I think he's been a lot. Not that mold.
Last year was worse than his recent 5 years. But
yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
All right. The next one is from Emily Steenstra. My favorite player is Phil Kessel. People think he's lazy, but his shot is a bullet, and he tries hard. He had a tough time in TO. I'm a Leafs fan and miss him dearly. My least favorite player is Crosby because he's a crybaby and does not get punished for the dirty stuff he does compared to the other players.
Consensus here.
Very consensus-driven there. Next is Wolfman81. Favorite? Sidney Crosby. Why? He is fast, strong, and has a great hockey IQ. His puck protection is unrivaled in the NHL and is one of the most consistent players in getting a lot of points even if he gets hurt. Least favorite? Corey Perry. Why? He is just really annoying and can really get under my skin because he is such a rat in front of the net. When something goes wrong, he gets really annoyed. P.S. I'm also a Flames fan, so that ties in with my hate of Corey Perry.
I guess that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. All right. Next is St. Louis Blues fan 10. Favorite? Colton Parayko and Carter Hutton because I have met and played with and against them in floor hockey.
Whoa, that's cool.
Well, how cool is that? They're both extremely nice, and surprisingly, Carter Hutton can actually play pretty good, not in the net. When I was playing with them, Parayko got a breakaway, and I stopped him from scoring. I'm a goalie, by the way.
Heck yeah.
That's great. Least favorite, Boone Jenner, because he's that guy that wants to go around hitting people but won't fight them when the other guy wants to get back at him. This actually happened in one of my NHL games, so from then on, he has been my least favorite player, along with Derek McKenzie for the same exact reason.
Ooh. Okay.
Blog First Last says, favorite, Ryan Getzlaf, because he is the embodiment of a captain. The way he has adapted into the role and taken over as the face of the team has been fun to watch. Least favorite player, Mark Giordano, because he plays like a goon. I'm aware guys like Kadri, Marchand, Kessler, and many others do too, but they get called out for it more than Giordano.
I think Getzlaf, I'm not a huge Ducks fan, but Getzlaf is definitely a guy that is the absolute idol of so many people. He takes the team, he puts it on his back.
He's a stud. He's a beast.
He just goes.
Yeah.
And so I really, really like Getzlaf.
Yeah, he's quite the guy. Top Shelf Hockey says, favorite player is Joe Pavelski because I'm a Sharks fan. Least favorite player, Andre Kopitar, because I hate the Kings. Forget the talent or anything. I'll just
rivalry.
Plays for a team I hate. I hate him. I like that. Spruce Homie 280 says, my favorite player is Patrick Kane. I'm a Blackhawks fan, and he makes a difference every time he is on the ice offensively. The man is a human highlight reel. My least favorite player is Ryan Kessler. The man is so frustrating to play against. That's his job, I know, but he gets me so riled up. I think I'd agree with the Kessler comment.
Yeah, and he's very good at being a pest and being the shadow of some of the superstars, and specifically in playoff series. That's what his job is.
Yeah, everyone has their role. He's very good at it.
He's very good at it.
To a point that he draws a lot of fans' ire. Dylan Worm says, my favorite player is Evgeny Malkin. Yeah, he's inconsistent at times, but when he's on his game, he can be the best player in the world. Injuries have held him back these past few years. Otherwise, he might have won a couple of more Harts, Lindsay's, Art Ross trophies, etc. My least favorite player is Marchand. I doubt that I need to explain why. Now, just on the issue of I'm calling him Marchand because that's what the Boston TV announcers call him. Now, up here in Canada, that name is normally called Marchand.
Yeah, right.
But they call him Marchand, and I'm uncomfortable with doing that because I don't think it's really correct. But
it's one of those names that you could probably say both ways, and someone wouldn't say anything. But.
Yeah. So it's like way back, in the 60s and 70s, there was a player for the Rangers called Walt Tkachuk, spelt the exact same way as Keith.
Oh, Keith and his son.
Yeah.
Tkachuk.
But for a long time they called him Taychuk.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about this, or maybe
so
just watching a little video.
Sometimes you just have to ask the player, like, what do you want to be called? And players will tell you what they want to be called. It's like Pyarvi, for instance. When he was in juniors, Pyarvi Svensson. He had actually a hyphenated name. But there's not enough, his shoulders aren't wide enough to have that all on his jersey.
Well, it's kind of like Panic. His name is Panik. And that's how we would pronounce it. But apparently in his home country, it's actually pronounced Ponic.
Okay.
And he eventually just said, just call me Panic.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he told the media. So.
And then remember Shatan?
Miroslav Shatan?
Yeah.
And he was called Satan for
it was Satan. Satan is what it looks like, but it's actually Shatan. So.
Yeah, and Alexander Semin?
Yeah, okay. Keep on going. KJ Singh 97 says, my favorite current NHL player is Connor McDavid. Not just because he's the captain of my favorite team, the Oilers, but he's just so insanely fast and fun to watch. Shred defenses across the league, night in and night out. And he's also the same age as me, being born in the same year, 1997. My least favorite player is just like you, Brad Marchand, because he makes me frustrated when he's on the ice, up to his nasty shenanigans, and also he scored those 2 goals in Game 7 against the Canucks when I really wanted the Canucks to end the Cup drought for Canada.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Marchand. I mean, he's a guy you hate, but then he goes and does amazing things with that puck, and it's just like, why?
What's the point? I mean, you have all that skill. Why waste the effort into doing all that? All those shenanigans.
You don't need to be that guy, but he can't help himself. He sees a guy from behind, and he's got his stick, and he just has to give him a little tweak. Puka Gaming says, my fave player is Patrick Kane because he can do so much with the puck. Least fave, Brad Marchand, because of his nut shots, knee on knee, and his dives. That's saying it more clearly than I just tried to say it, but that's it.
A little less elegantly.
A little less elegantly, but more truthfully than I was doing. Ringstorp says, my favorite player is Erik Karlsson because he is carrying the Sens and being a prime example of a captain on and off the ice. Always smiling, always available for press and fans, etc.
True.
Plus, he's so good at scoring that I don't know if he really is a defense guy or not. He's playing both forward and back, no contest.
Totally.
That's a totally defensible opinion. I mean, that's really good. I can't choose just one, so for the least favorite player, I say Brad Marchand and Sidney Crosby. Brad because he is a straight-up nasty and dishonorable player. For Sidney, it's because of his earlier years when he was diving like a football player and always threw his gloves when the other player was looking the other way. And he was the biggest crybaby. Now he has gotten older and wiser and is an amazing hockey player, but I still can't stand him. Yeah,
that's funny.
That's very good. I like the logo. He's got the Rogla hockey logo there. Teddy McCabe says, my favorite player is Jonathan Toews because he's good and he does a lot for the community. My least favorite is Brad Marchand because he's very dirty.
Trend.
A trend. Star Shooter says, my favorite player is Connor McDavid because don't judge because he's good. I'm an Oilers fan. I live in Edmonton and I love his speed, agility, and ability to see the ice. My least favorite player is, sorry Ducks fans, Ryan Kessler. No surprise because he prevented McDavid from doing his job. Nice vids, keep it up. So that's good. Dabria N says, my favorite player is Patrice Bergeron because he's the best two-way forward in the game, IMO, in my opinion, and a tough team player that plays consistently good in all areas.
I agree.
That's actually a very good point.
Absolutely.
He's also a class act and a great leader. Would love to see him wear the C whenever Chara retires. God, when will that be? Watching him play over the years has been a treat.
Totally.
My least favorite player, is Sidney Crosby. He's incredible, and I respect his hockey ability, but there's something about him that just gets under my skin.
Yep.
Emily Fellows says, my favorite player is Nikita Kucherov because I'm a big Tampa fan and because simply he is an amazing player. I don't necessarily have a least favorite player, but if I had to choose who I'd rather not see in person, it would have to be Sidney Crosby.
So there's a huge trend here. We've got Ryan Kessler, Sidney Crosby, and Brad Marchand. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not. Not a bit. Maybe a little bit more surprised on Crosby because I think a lot of the people who are, viewers of Post to Post, I didn't picture them as being around 10 years ago when Crosby was that guy.
Right.
Because they're probably a younger viewing audience.
Yep.
But that reputation has obviously carried through with him to the present day, to the extent that his amazing talent now can't overcome those years of frustration with his behavior on the ice.
Yeah, he caused a lot of frustration from fans back then. And it's unfortunate that he was that way when he first broke into the league. And I think even Justin admitted to being a little bit frustrated with him back in the day, even though he was his favorite player and still is. But you saw him on the other end of the spectrum too. A lot of people said that Crosby was their favorite player. So
well, that's right, and I think people need to have credit for the ability to change. You can't have an opinion from someone for their entire life because of one stupid thing they said or one stupid thing they did. Give people a chance to reform themselves and remake themselves, and then try to treat them for what they've become as they've grown as a person. So that's kind of how I look at the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's not even just about being dirty and stuff. Players grow all the time. When Shane Doan entered the league, he was a completely different player than what he was when he ended the league. He had a different style of play. He was a much better skater. He grew as a player in general. So. People change. And
it's a great thing to watch when you see this, because when these people go into professional hockey, some of them, they're drafted and they're playing right away. So at the age of 18, 19, 20 years old, they're still barely not children, right? And by the time they're done their career, they're full-blown adults with families of their own. And you have to change over that. If you don't change, there's something freaking wrong with you, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. So it's nice to watch the change.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
All right. So that wraps up all the questions from, or all the answers from last week.
Not all, just the ones
we
had time for.
271, I think it was in the last video. So they keep increasing, and I can't choose any more than the video would be. It's too long. So the question this week, for your answers next week, when you're talking to a fan of another team and they're incredibly biased and closed-minded and they just won't listen to you what you have to say, they won't listen to any reasoning, they're extremely defensive of their team, how do you deal with that person? Like, in your guys' experience, how do you open the mind of a closed-minded hockey fan? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Like, if you want
a fan that just has the blinders on, they only see.
Yeah, maybe if you have a friend who likes hockey, but he's incredibly biased, and you just can't talk to him about hockey because he just goes on rants about. Maybe he's a Phoenix fan, and all he talks about is Phoenix, and all he cares about is Phoenix, and he doesn't want to talk about any other teams around the league, and he's just really defensive. I'm curious how you guys would deal with that situation or have dealt with that situation. It could be a learning lesson for all of us in the comments to read each other's responses and learn a little bit and maybe have a little bit more patience with people or maybe a little less patience depending on the person.
What about somebody watching the video today, right now? Who is that person?
Right.
What if you're that person that only likes your team and you hate everybody else? Do you have any friends? And if you do, how do you keep those friends?
even if you don't like it, even if you like other teams or follow the other league, being overly biased or defensive about your team, how would you recommend they overcome being overly defensive of their team?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what I would suggest. I just recommend being more open-minded and not taking everything so seriously, I guess. I don't really...
It's a game. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
And everybody who follows the NHL, I think, are brothers and sisters in hockey, right? And it'd be nice if we liked our teams that we like, but we're mature enough to see it from a bit of a distance and realize that fans cheer for other teams for all kinds of other good reasons too, right?
Yeah, we're all hockey fans at the end of the day.
That's right.
And there's nothing wrong with a good hockey debate. love a good hockey debate. There's all kinds of those in our Discord all the time.
Yeah.
But
as long as it's a debate. And
as long as it's a debate.
You're an idiot.
And that's the problem. Some people can't, are a little bit too defensive, and they can't overcome that. So,
like, I don't, I'm not a fan of the Philadelphia Flyers, for instance, or let's say the Boston Bruins. But that doesn't mean I don't adore some people who are fans of those teams.
Yeah.
Because they're wonderful people.
Would you go to the Flyers rink and watch a game? Or arena, sorry, not rink.
I probably wouldn't wear my team's colors in there. I would probably just be neutral. Maybe I'd wear the Swamp Rabbits.
Oh.
I'd go in as a Swamp Rabbits fan, so I wouldn't get my tires punctured or something, because it actually has happened in Philly. I don't know about the other cities, but people take stuff a little too seriously. I would like to go and enjoy the game because it's a nice arena to watch a game in.
If I would, totally. If I was going to go watch Philly play, I don't know, Columbus. So the Columbus was playing Philly in Philly. I was in Philly watching the game. I'd cheer for Philly because they're the home team.
Yeah, I probably would.
You want to see them do well. You want to see the crowd get excited. I'd cheer for Philly for sure.
Yeah,
so.
I'd be all right with that.
I don't know how we get onto that topic, but I guess we'll leave it there. So curious how you guys deal with closed-minded hockey fans. What could you recommend to release them from their ways and open their mind a little bit? Curious to know. So thank you guys very much for watching this video. We really appreciate it. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button, and we will see you in the next Fan Friday. Adios.